Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hope everybody. There's Randy. Howdy, Randy. And we'll give everybody a couple minutes to come in, but we're glad you're here. And hope that everybody's having a good evening. Let us know if you're watching, if you're connected. Here comes somebody else.
Comment in the chat, say hi.
Yes.
Let us know you're out there. We appreciate you guys being here. Namaste.
Hello,
Hi, Deborah. Hello, sweetie.
Oh, this is great. So I know more people will be coming in, but
Sure.
we want to welcome you to our video podcast. We want to ask to remind everybody to please help us grow. Hello, Angie. Please help us grow by subscribing, liking, or following our podcasts. We're on Facebook and YouTube, and we're also on iTunes and Spotify. Hello, Tara. You can find behind the scenes and extra thoughts and other little notes that I've created a blog where you can see you can hear the podcast from there, and it's on my website at iriscarter.com, and there's a link to the Eyes of Indigo podcast. But anything you're looking for, if you type in Eyes of Indigo on whatever format you're on, we should pop up. And so we appreciate y'all liking and sharing, and share. Tell people we want
Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Annabelle, how are you? Glad to see everybody here. Appreciate you joining us. So tonight's program, it came about because of a comment that one of our viewers made, and that's what we like. We want to get, you're always welcome to plug in your ideas or ask questions. And this came from a question, what are our spiritual practices in daily living? And so that's what we're going to address today. And I guess first of all, I want to talk a little bit about what spiritual practices are.
Right.
Because people think, oh, well, is that when you go to church and say your rosary? Or
and it might be,
but
we're not Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. We can pretend. Like Oreos and milk. But anyway,
Howard be thy name.
I've had friends back away from me when I've told jokes and things. They're going, "You're going to get hit by lightning, and I don't want to be anywhere near you."
I have a magnet on my refrigerator that it's just a picture of a beautiful, sexy blonde, and it says, "I'm going to hell in every religion." I bought that one. I went, oh hell yeah! I'm multi-faith. I'm going to hell in every religion. I've offended everybody sooner or later. Not intentional, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it just you can't take yourself too seriously.
You can't take we're not here to be somber. We're here to enjoy.
Yeah. So,
be playful.
But really, spiritual practices, or they're meant to quiet the mind and to align yourself. And so, but what does that mean? Some people don't even understand, align yourself. What? I need to go to the chiropractor? No.
Well, yeah, you do, but that's not what this is about.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to crack your back or whatever.
Crack your chakras.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've heard that, getting your alignment in your chakras. This is one of the processes that actually can be described that way. Yeah, or some of the processes can be described that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those who are, okay, I've heard the chakras, and you see jokes poked about it and things like that. But if you can remember the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. That's the colors of the chakras that align.
The main seven. Yeah.
Yeah, that run basically up your body, from your head to your pelvis. And and then supposedly the 7 notes of the musical scale align with those as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And so when you're aligning your chakras or you're grounding yourself, we're going to talk about some ways to do that and how we do that in our daily lives. And if y'all have comments or questions, or things that you do that you think you want to share with us, we'll be able to do that.
Incorporate it. Yeah.
Yes, incorporate it.
Bring it into the conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, why don't you start?
Well, the logical place for me to start would be, what do I do first thing in the morning? What do you do to start your day? The question that it was Lee that was the name of the lady that asked us, what are our personal spiritual practices? So a logical thing would be, well, what do we do on a day? If you want to know about a day or day in, day out, daily basis, I've trained myself that when I wake up, one of the first things that I try to think about, say, or do, even before I hit the loo, is a very simple. I put both my hands on my heart chakra and just think about the cosmic, infinite, spiritual one, the Godhead, the divine creator, whatever that is out there, and I address it. But that's all I do. And I say, my beloved, oh my beloved.
Wow.
And then let go, sit up, and go about my day. And that's it for waking up. So I'm acknowledging the great divine there is, acknowledging that I'm awake, and acknowledging that these things exist, that I exist, because I also understand that I am a part of that one. I'm acknowledging myself. I'm doing it. I mean, this is a Reiki master practice, as well as a lot of other practices to, heart chakra, centering in that. And what I'm saying is coming from love, expressing love, as well as acknowledging all those things, and just putting my mindset immediately in that spiritual basis right off the bat. And that's first.
That is so honorable. My routine in the morning is to get up and go, where the hell did I go last night? What were you telling me? I didn't understand.
Now that comes while I'm on the toilet. What the hell were we doing last night?
I remember, but it doesn't make sense.
It's like spiritual alcoholism. And I'm sure that there's a coordination with spirits and spirits for a reason.
They drag me all over. We're partying hard, and I get up, with a hangover every morning. And it's
spiritual hangover. An energetic hangover. Oh, man.
I have been so busy these past months, and it's just...
Yeah.
And I'm going to the same places repeatedly, different, I might go this place, might go these 3 places this night, and these places another night, and stuff is happening while I'm gone, and I go back and I'm checking in on stuff that's going on, and I know I'm going somewhere else, and
you're talking about in your dream state, not actually physically walking places, right?
Yes. In
Okay,
my
yeah, okay.
dream, I'm going,
Context. Yeah, you're talking about in your dream state when you're asleep. Yeah,
yes, when I'm asleep, my
right.
mind or my,
Is going 2 or 3 or 4 places that you've been
we're
before.
coordinating and preparing something. And it's like, I just want to hear more of the conversation. I don't quite understand, just quit the vague stuff and tell me what's going on. So that's what I wake up with every morning. It's like, what was that?
I've learned I don't want to know. I've
uh,
learned I've learned to not ask what the hell's going on.
oh, not me. I'm too curious. I want to
Mm-mm.
see what's going on behind the curtain.
That's where we're different. I've learned I don't want to know.
Yeah, no, show it all to me. I can take it. I think I can take it.
Well, sooner or later they'll bring it to you.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I should be doing is more of the yes, thank you for this
Well,
day. And
you could, yeah. I mean, that's more of an thank you for this day. It's more of a end of day thing, but just beloved, oh my beloved, and that's it.
just
And
an
it's
acknowledgement, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could sometimes, and I do feel sometimes I feel inspired to say namaste instead of beloved, oh my beloved, or I'll say all of it, namaste, oh my beloved, and it all means the same thing. Bless you, I see you, I acknowledge you, I love you, good stuff like that.
Or aho.
Aho, ashe, aloha, all those. Baraha.
Yeah.
Let's see, some other spiritual practices I do. Some spiritual practices I do every now and then, a few times a year, a few times a month, but on special occasions,
Mm-hmm.
um, such as burning white candles when somebody's dying or their pet is dying or they're going through a profound change, like when the COVID stuff started in March, and when people have passed on that I know about, burning white candles. We burn white candles, one of those long, tall 7-day candles that cost $1 or $2 at the dollar store or the Family Dollar, something like that. Sometimes they have a Jesus or a Mary or some other saint on the side, but the plain white ones are our favorites. And we burn those. And Iris asked me a really good question about, well, what is that about? And that's actually a practice that comes from a lot of different traditions, such as a lot of pagan ones and a lot of indigenous ones. And it serves two purposes. The first one being it's I'm losing my earpiece. First one being it's a hyper focusing of the intention and letting the flame carry that up and hyper focus it all in that molecular tiny burning spot. The second purpose for it is it's in honor. It's an homage. It's a memorial for whoever is involved, and as an entity representing that entity's spark of light in the universe. So a little bit of candle magic, a little bit there, but that's also a regular spiritual practice. Um, how about you, Iris? What do you do when kerfuffle happens, like somebody dying or the whole nation going on lockdown or something like that?
One of the biggest things that I have found that helps me, and one is kind of a two-step thing. Um, I definitely every time I take the dog out to do her business,
Yeah,
it's a reminder for me to ground myself.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
will stand in the sun. I've got a great east. The front of the house faces east, and the back of the house faces west. So I get the sun all day. Just going right overhead. And so wherever I go, I can get somewhere in the sun, and I absorb that light and that energy. And I
Yeah.
also um, start in the heart chakra and I move my energy. I feel my energy go down my body and go into the ground. Sometimes I can do it well enough that I can actually smell the earth. I love doing that when I can
Oh,
pull that up
yeah.
and just go as deep as I can, you know, and pull. Then I pull myself back up through, and
Hmm.
as I'm coming back up, I'm pulling energy from all the rocks and minerals and earth, and I
Yeah.
bring it all the way up to the top, and imagine the light on top of my head, and then I bring it and pull it back down into my heart space.
Oh.
And it can take me 30 seconds, or I can spend
Yeah.
5 minutes doing it. It does,
Yeah.
but
Go
I
back and
do
forth.
that at least
Hmm.
a couple of times a day. And when I kind of
Ooh.
check in and do that, when things really get wonky, or I've had times where I've gotten a load of information that's like I feel just so discombobulated, I'll go out and I've got a oak and a maple tree side by side outside my back door, and I will go and literally touch
Yeah.
one of the trees, usually the oak tree, and I'll do the same type of meditation,
Making my
but
nose go. Yeah.
I just kind of and sometimes I'm just talking to the trees and I'm saying thank you for taking this away from me.
Yeah.
Help me get balanced. I'll talk to the trees.
Yes.
And it was really fascinating, and I wrote about this on a blog on my website. But when I was a little girl, God, I was probably 4 years old, 4 or 5. My sister and I I think it was the way my mom would like get out of the house, kind of thing. My sister is still 6 years older than me. Uh, we haven't time changed that much, and she would she'd lay a blanket out under. We had a big old tree in the front yard, and I don't know now what it was. It might have been an oak tree too, but we had this huge tree, and we would lay a blanket out on a nice day, and my sister would read or something, and I would lay and take a nap. But sometimes, I'd lay with my head in her lap and we'd talk or we'd play a little bit, but it was just a time to get me to calm down. And I remember, and I know I did this more than once, but this one time sticks out in my head where I was laying down, looking up, and we had been looking at the clouds and stuff, but it was a quiet day, not much wind. And I started talking in my mind to the trees. And I was like, hey,
Oh.
tree. And I saw a branch move. And I was like, was that you? And I saw it move again.
Oh.
And then I was like, wind? Is there wind? And the tree was perfectly still. And then the wind did blow, and it moved a different direction than when it was waving and talking
Right,
to me.
waving at you.
Yeah, and so I really learned to make that connection. And then years later, in the 90s, I was working on my undergraduate degree as a continuing ed student. And one semester I took existentialism in one class and Confucianism in another class. I was totally screwed up that whole semester. But in the existential class, we read Martin Buber, I think it was, and
Okay.
or Sartre. I don't know if it was Sartre or Buber, but the I and Thou book. It's called I and Thou. I've got it on a shelf over there. I can't remember. But he talks about connection with trees,
Oh.
and if he's I and Thou, and the I and you is when you're connecting with a person. I and Thou is when you're connecting with everything.
Okay.
And it's like, and he kind of puts it in question: is can we be so well connected that we can actually talk to trees? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that one. And so I go out and talk to my trees when I'm really
The earth
wigged
and the
out.
trees. Yeah,
Yeah,
the earth and the trees.
yeah.
Very cool. Um, when I need to do a reset, uh, some of you that know of me already, I'm a Reiki master teacher. Reiki is my go-to energy medicine practice for when me or someone else. It's a touch energy healing therapy method. For those that don't know, you can read more about it at reiki.org. But it's moving chi energy through your hands or through your existence. You don't necessarily have to touch, but there's also Reiki symbols. And my favorite one that I use almost every single day, especially for the whole planet right now, is the power symbol, the first Reiki symbol. And it has a blessing, healing, and my nose is going off. Vibrating nose thing. It has a blessing, healing, clarification, um, acceleration, amplification effect. And I use that one a lot. But when David and I really want to do some heavy duty reset, connecting, whatever, we like burning sage, incenses, and we also use bells, one of which you can see right there behind me, that shaman Nella Silverspear gave us a long time ago. But we have other bells around the house. And it's sound clearing, or it's an olfactory ionic cleansing with the burning of the sage. And there's the energetic process of Reiki, moving chi through your body, through the environment. And we got some comments going on there. And yeah, Heather Hilton, connecting with nature is amazing. And Randy uses the power symbol mostly too. Mm-hmm. When I really want to play with Reiki, I start with the power symbol and then I move over to the master symbols, which are basically the power symbol on steroids. But they're more complicated. They take longer to do. So I instinctively do the power symbol, which is a whole lot faster. Um, so my question for you then, in that case, Iris, is you do theta healing practices, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So for your personal practice, where do you incorporate that, or what do you do with it?
One of the theta is going into a theta brainwave and connecting with the all that is. Whether
Yes.
and usually I refer to it as creator, but whatever name trips your trigger, that's fine.
Yeah.
And with theta, it doesn't take a long time to get into that brainwave, and it's like,
It's a
some
natural
people,
state.
yeah, and some people, try to meditate, and they've practiced and practiced for hours and hours and years, and it doesn't have to be that difficult. And part of it is, instead of like when I was describing being outside and connecting with the ground,
Yeah.
got to be grounded. And then when I go up, I keep going. And it's like I see myself going through the universe, the multiverses, through the 7 planes of existence, until I get to a little door with a light, and you go in, and it's just bright light, crystalline type, sparkly white light, that you're just completely in it. And there is where I have my conversations with God, essentially. And that's where I get my best messages. And if I want to connect with somebody who is alive, or their higher self, or they're dead, or an animal's higher self, or whatever, I ask. That's where I ask to make the connections that I need to make for whatever information I need. Or it's a place to just spend some quiet time and kind of go, okay, what do you need me to know? And I get that information, and then when I'm ready to come back, I just make sure that I'm back in my head, I'm in my body, and I'm grounded again and settle in my heart space. So
Good.
that's, yeah, and so it's that kind of routine. And there's actually a meditation.
Mm.
Vienna Stabile is the one who formulated or shared or created, however you want to say it, the theta healing practice, and she's got some good meditations on YouTube. Um,
Oh, good. Good
yeah,
recommendations. Yeah.
yeah. So, um, yeah.
Randy asks you a question. Is it might be for me too. He says, "Well, Iris, do you use sage or any kind of burning stuff like that? And do you use something else besides sage? He has allergies to that.
I've got uh,
I burn
a
Palo
diffuser.
Santo. Oh,
I've
a
got a
diffuser.
diffuser with
A diffuser.
natural oils.
Essential oils. Yep,
Essential
that's a good one.
oils, and but be careful, because a lot of people try to go for the cheap essential oils. I'll get what's in the health store, or get
And
what,
you end up with
and
toxic
they're watered down, or they're toxic or whatever. So you want to get them from a reliable
source.
source. Yeah. But
If you
I'll
want
do that. I've
to, have you tried Palo Santo, which is wood? Palosanto, Palo Santo, which burns like sage,
mm,
and also sweetgrass. Braided sweetgrass are two other popular burning things if essential oils is a challenge for somebody.
I never thought about just burning sage, just to leave it
Uh-huh.
like you burn a candle. I mean,
Right.
I've done it for cleansings and
Yeah,
things.
yeah, you can do it for cleansing, but you can just leave it sitting out burning while you're meditating, or just letting it waft out in the house as well. Palo Santo can burn that way, and so can sweetgrass. Yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
somebody comes to
Um,
visit and they think you've been smoking pot.
you've been smoking pot, which is why burning something else might smell a little bit better than that. For people who are in the know for what that stuff smells like.
Oh, I don't know. I've just heard.
It's a common joke. Absolutely. By the way, chokore's the power symbol in Reiki that does the exact same thing that sage does. So there you go. No smell. It has the exact same effect. But stones, we also use a lot of stones. We have a we have pebble gardens every freaking where. We have altars in every single house of our home here. And Iris and I were showing each other some of the cool rocks that we have sitting around our
Yes, I'll show.
computers. Yeah, isn't that? There it is. I
Yeah.
love that. That's her white. The white thing's actually part of the integral part of the stone.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's not painted on or anything like that. It's part of the rock. It comes like
That's
that.
part of the rock that it comes
Yeah.
in. And then we got into an interesting discussion um, that I learned that I was doing, and then I learned from Dale Stacy. Seashells are another expression of minerals and stones, except for they're more widely used in island and coastal cultures, especially Hawaii, because minerals and rocks, volcanic action is too new. You can't get amethysts and quartz and stuff like that in those parts of the world because the earth is being turned up with all the lava traffic going on. They use shells and corals and pearls and cool stuff like that for their spiritual stone practices, and the different shells have different meanings. Oh, um,
Yeah.
this Larimar is a ring that I like using a lot when I'm really doing some heavy duty, as well as this moonstone ring that I have. Um, I like using when I'm doing um, Reiki work on somebody, particularly. They act as amplifiers. This is the
Better
moonstone
than
is an
Bluetooth.
amplifier. Exactly, better than Bluetooth. This is a heart driven stone. It comes from heart energy, and this is a shamanic stone. So it's more 6-7 coming out of amplification. So that's just a little bit, that's a tiny, tiny bit of the hundreds and hundreds of stones that we've got all over this house. I sleep with them beside my bed. We have them in our food prep areas. We have them all around our computers, all around our television sets. We've got 2 television sets. David's man cave, on and on and on. And what about you, Iris? Are stones a part of your practices in your house, your living situation?
Yeah, what was really interesting is when I was a kid, I used to collect rocks. I had a rock collection. Little did I know that that was,
Vogue.
yeah, or that, I mean, everywhere I would pick up stones that I thought were interesting, or, and then I had a great uncle that was a rock hound. And I mean, he traveled all over the world and would get rocks and things. And sometimes I would get a stone from him or something like that. But now, of course, I got to be a teenager and got rid of my rock collection. And but as an adult, I've started collecting crystals, and I have. It's kind of like books for me. If I'm not
Yeah,
careful, it's like,
they'll take over.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I do have them. I haven't studied crystals as much. What I do with them is just more intuitive
I was going to
than,
say more instinctive, intuitive for you, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. But I have
Yeah.
them, and I can't remember what's the one that they put a mixture. The people that make them, they put a mixture in, like a
Super
laminate,
Seven.
and
Super Seven.
no,
No.
but it's like, it looks like glitter and stuff in there, but it's really good
Oh,
for putting by TVs and
yeah. Not.
electronics.
I want to say Bloodstone, but it's not. Not
No,
Bloodstone.
it's like,
Yeah,
um
they're either
lemon.
purple and
Oh,
sparkly or orange and sparkly. What is
yeah,
that,
and
you guys?
I
In the
should have
comment
one.
section, you guys know. Tell us. It's a something stone, not rhinestone.
No, it's and I wish I thought I had one in here, and I probably do, but it's under something.
Goldstone.
Who?
Goldstone. Goldstone. It's called Goldstone.
Oh, I've heard it called something else, but
Well,
I don't.
every single stone has multiple names, but I think that's called Goldstone. Gold.
Okay.
Randy, you asked what is the shaman stone? There's more than one type of shaman stone. This is a Larimar, Larimar, a Larimar, and it's blue and white. But a more popular shaman stone, I think you already have. It's a selenite. It's a
Mhm.
clear stone. Is a selenite is an excellent shamanic stone.
I've got
And
selenite here. I've got a
yeah,
rod, and I
yes,
use it like to disconnect cords and attachments
right,
and things.
right. Yeah, it's a great conductor of energy as well as clearing and mastering all other stones. There's a ton you can get PhDs in crystal and stone and mineral medicine for sure.
Wow.
Something that I also do on nearly a daily basis is I listen to a chant that I sent a link to. I listen to it off of YouTube and I play it throughout my house. Yeah, seashells are totally from the earth. They
And you're
are.
in Miami.
So
Annabelle is in Miami. Yeah.
so yep, she's got a lot of seashell medicine all around her. So this chant is a Hindu chant, and it's called Maham Ritunjaha. And I just call it by the German guy who sings it. His name is Brat, Hein Brat. Iris is going to play, a, a minute of it or so for you. But the intention of it, while you're listening, so you can understand, he's speaking Hindu, and the chant that he's saying is about 5 minutes long. It's based on the Om, O-M, and the purpose of the intent is to raise the vibration of everyone and everything that can hear the sonic vibrations of the chant itself. In other words, your body, your house, your pets, your food, your sleeping blankets, your books, your computer, your cell phone, your clothes, your mind, your aura, everything and everyone that can hear this chant. So your neighbors maybe, or anybody else in the household, or anybody outside, anybody that can hear this chant, is their vibration gets raised higher and higher. The more you listen to it on a daily basis is what's recommended for an hour, 1 hour of 5 minute chants. So obviously 12 times or 13 times. It raises your vibration for the purpose of it has a protective effect. It raises your vibration more positive, more higher. That's good English. It raises your vibration higher so that low vibration and or inappropriate vibrations and intentions don't work on you or in your space. And therefore, as a result, it has a protective quality. For example, the man that taught this to me, he had two friends who were rock climbers. One of his friends was also into Hinduism and chanting like himself, listened regularly to this chant every day. The other rock climber buddy, it wasn't his lifestyle. That wasn't what he did. He wasn't into Hinduism or anything like it. So this was not a part of his world. The two friends went climbing up a mountain like they do, and they disturbed a wasp nest by accident in the rocks. And of course, they started swarming. The guy who does not listen to these chants got attacked, and they hurt him and they stung him, and he had medical problems. The other guy, who was right there, they're within inches of each other, inches of this swarming nest that blew up, not one sting, not one attack, completely protected. Your vibration is high enough, the animals can tell. So that evidence alone sold me on the idea originally, and yes, it does work. Nothing happens in this house that's of huge consequence, and it's actually quite peaceful here.
And you said you listen to it every day, right?
I listen to it every day, and if I skip a day, I can feel it. And we listen to it the next day immediately. But if you can follow the link, it's on YouTube. The guy who sings it is Brat, Braat.
And
Hein
I'll
Brat.
play it for a minute right now,
And
just so
you
you
can
get it.
recognize the logo. Yeah, you can recognize the logo when you see it on YouTube. But you'll feel it. So ideally, what you do is the first few weeks, you just listen to the chant and let it play in your household, let it do its effect in your household and on yourself. And as you learn the words, you can start singing along, and it deepens the effect and makes it even more pervasive. Learn the words and chant along. However, it's according to the Hindu tradition, it's real important that you learn the words and the chant correctly. There's a protocol to it. So I mumble along. Don't want to offend any Hindu gods.
I can do the ohms.
There you go. And mostly just let it bathe you in the sound. It's not required to learn the chant. It's just if you want to go to the next level, so to speak, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
So
that
that's
guy's
another
got a
one.
great voice. I mean,
Yeah, Heimbrat is known for that. Or I'm not even sure he's still alive. He might not be alive anymore. He might be.
oh,
But yeah, he was a talented dude. He's been around for decades. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that
So
is.
yeah, so what are some other practices that you indulge in, Miss
Well,
Iris?
there's one of the things is and I find this is it's a clearing thing for me. Um, when I'm kind of doing my meditation, sometimes I almost well, what I do is I ask Creator to the standard is that I know other people do is ask for all rips and tears in your auric field to be repaired. You know, your aura is the light that's around you. Um, and I took it a step further and went and said, okay, yeah, let's heal all rips and tears, but also I asked for a cleansing because what I was seeing was my aura was acting like a filter. And so it was like, you know, there any somebody come around me with negative energy and it's kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
and so I'd say, okay, so let's cleanse it and send that energy to creator to deal with.
yeah,
I ask
yeah,
for regeneration and rejuvenation and revitalization and to enhance the colors and the balance and all that. And so I just kind of ask for that on a routine basis. And as soon as I do it, I feel like I've been cleansed. It's just like
yeah,
whew, yeah, it's very, very light. And I know it like spiritual housekeeping, you know, you gotta
yeah,
and so that's something that helps me. Also, I know we were talking a little bit about this earlier. When things happen that are serendipitous
mm,
or particularly noteworthy, it might be anything from seeing a butterfly go by to seeing a different kind of wild animal out my backyard, or
yeah.
somebody calls me and says something, or I see I
Phenomenon.
yeah,
Yeah,
some sort of little whatever it is.
it can be
uh
innocuous. Yeah.
yeah, I give thanks,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
acknowledgement that hey,
Yes.
I see the message, I recognize it, thank you. I've had
Little gifts.
yeah, every once in a while, like I know I can tell when my parents are checking in because I'll see pennies
Yeah.
around and
Yeah.
I see you, thank you, appreciate it, you know, and
For sure.
yeah, so there's anything like that. If I recognize something and see something and that acknowledgement, what happens is you're putting it out that you appreciate it and more comes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so
I'm constantly saying namaste to objects, to people, in my letter writing, in my emails, even in business. If I detect that they are of the yoga or alternative mindset, namaste, namaste, namaste. And it's worth it, if you don't know what namaste means, to look it up, because the real definition of namaste is actually a couple of paragraphs long in English. But namaste, namaste is, yes, very influential. You know what? You just made me think of another practice that lots of times I've taught other people when they're trying to release something or forgive something. The Ho'oponopono practice of I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And that's a mantra that's obviously in English. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And that's the that's based on the Ho'oponopono practice that again is Hawaiian um, in nature. And that is all about forgiving and releasing things, energies, situations, mindsets, people who are no longer, their energy is no longer in service or to your benefit. Um, that's another one that's not, I don't say that nearly as much as namaste, but thank you and namaste, yes.
I like the please,
Every day, all day. Yeah.
I like the please forgive me statement because
Yeah.
one thing I learned through the theta healing and all is, your words have so much meaning, and we can say things and not mean to. And I know I've talked about this in the earlier podcast,
Sure.
but when some people go, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I didn't mean to do that."
Self-talk.
Cancel, clear that. Don't say it.
Cancel, delete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Cancel, clear,
one of the
delete.
things that people do a lot, and I'm guilty of it, is, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." No, you're not sorry. You're not.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it can be misinterpreted. I apologize. Please forgive me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Those kinds of things are better words than "I'm sorry," because you're declaring that you're not a good.
Understanding. Saying I understand is a very, very controversial statement that most people are not aware of what that really means. And to break it down a little more simply, think about what under and stand mean. When you understand somebody, somebody declares a statement and you stand below them, you are acknowledging that they are superior and have authority over you. So when you say I understand, you are legally and energetically and spiritually acquiescing to someone else's authority because you understand them and they override, overstand, oversee you. So be
Oh.
careful about, think about, do the research. Definitely. Don't just take my word for it. Do the
But
research
find
about the
different words.
phrase, I understand. You can say, I comprehend. You can say, uh, that is within my realm of knowledge. And you can say all kinds of
I
alternatives.
get that.
I,
Hey.
I get it. Yep. But saying I understand means something that most people are not aware. And in legal situations, that can really, really put you in the hole and you didn't even know it. But that's a little bit of a rabbit hole. But I thought
Yeah.
Spirit said to bring that to you guys' attention. Pay attention to the word, to the phrase, I understand.
Yes.
Um,
And I think, but
Understand. Yep, Randy said understand. That's another way to do it too. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Depends on the context of the situation. Absolutely.
Yes. And another thing, since we're talking about words, it this came to my attention, and I keep feeling like I need to talk about it a little bit.
Sure.
I wrote, and I wrote a whole blog post about this. But when you talk about, I see a lot of people going, thoughts and prayers, and praying. And I have actually wrote a blog post called "Don't Pray for Me,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that I mean that I don't want people to be concerned and put out positive energy for me.
Right.
But what it means is, too many times when people, like, I saw somebody today that posted that they were concerned about a family member and they asked for prayers, and people go, "Oh, I'll pray that he gets better. I'll pray that he," and that might not necessarily be what's in the highest and best for that person. So when you pray, if you're going to ask for, don't dictate what you want to happen for somebody. It's
Right.
not our decision. There's a bigger picture to it, and we can't always see it. I was
So
told the
word choice
story.
would be, go
uh,
ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
know somebody. Yeah, I know somebody that um this person told me the story about a friend that they knew. He needed a liver transplant. He People were praying, I'll pray that you get a new liver, and he did. And something went wrong. And he had to have another one. And he had a third one. And three liver transplants. But every time everybody would pray, oh, I want you to get better. I'm going to pray that you get, and they would talk about how their prayer chains worked and got him a new liver. The whole thing was he wanted to die. He was like, stop praying for me. It is time for me to go. And they were manifesting
A
and bringing
reality
this
that
to
he didn't
him.
want.
And it
Yeah.
was it was what he didn't want. And it wasn't in his highest and best. And so, we can't always see the big picture of what's going on or why somebody is dying, and we need to let's let them. I when I'll send light and love to people,
Sure.
and in my mind I am asking creator for whatever is needed for this person that's in their highest and best, and just let it go with grace and ease, and positive energy, creator's love. It just depends on whatever comes to me at the time that I think of that this person might need. I ask for those things that are innocuous and not judgmental,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so those words are important as well. Yeah, I see people go, oh, I'll pray for you, and I'll pray for you to get better, and I just, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Nails on a chalkboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tara said the classic neutral words, ask for the highest good for the person.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, neutral, high vibrations, highest good, whatever that is.
And so
Whatever that
all of
is.
those things, when you incorporate these little things into your daily life, that becomes your spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's,
And
it becomes a daily mindset to defer to your intuition, to defer to your instincts on a spiritual level, seeing sacred in every living thing, seeing sacred in every inanimate thing as well. Um, becomes a part of your daily life, your daily mindset,
you
not
start
just
realizing
your.
the interconnectivity of everything.
Yes, yes, that's one of the cool perks as you start seeing that. The grids start showing up right in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
So
really cool. Let's
so
see. On less something else we do that's not so much, obviously not so much daily, but we have a monthly drumming circle that we do.
mm,
It's free to the public over in Holden Beach, North Carolina, that we do with our shamanic friends and the general public. And in the spring and summer, when the year 2020 wasn't happening, we did Reiki circles on the beach. We did Reiki treatments and Reiki circles on the beach um, at Holden Beach. And a drum circle started up around that. So you actually got treated during drum circles. It was kind of cool. It was the second drum circle. And yep, spiritual practice is lived. Absolutely. Um, but we do meditation circles. One of my favorite meditations for myself that I also like teaching as well. We teach it on the Reiki master level, but anybody can learn it. Is the 3 pillars of Reiki, is what literally it's called. And in short, you prep yourself, you prep your intention, ask for uh, the connection to start between yourself and the divine, and then you execute the practice of meditating or treating Reiki, whichever one you want to do. And those are basically 3 pillars. But the first step is called the gasho, and the gasho meditation, prepping yourself, is my favorite. And without going through a whole long bunch of details about what steps I actually take mentally to go through it, because I can power through them in just a couple of seconds, because I've done it so many times. But basically, what I do is mentally shrink myself, my awareness and myself down to microscopic level and fly out into the nothing in between the atoms and the quarks and the Quirlicues and all that other crap that's out there, and literally fly out into the nothing and be in the nothing. Similar to what you were describing about you go to the levels and you talk to God in that beautiful, sparkly, special door space. Which, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, have you ever seen the movie Doctor Strange? From
No.
God Killer.
Add it to the
You
list.
need to see Doctor Strange. Not only is he good looking,
Ah.
but they they illustrate exactly what you describe. The movie Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mm-hmm.
The movie describes how he learns to be a wizard across a multi-dimensional wizard across space and time, and the special effects that they use when he's learning and when he actually practices. These He does this symbol a lot, which is the opening of a gate, and using a special medallion that he has in front. But anyway, you got to see it. It's got comedy as well as a lot of reveals in it. Yep, love Doctor Strange. Um, it's got a lot of comedy. It's got a lot of reveals. It's got a lot of philosophy. It's got a lot of old medicine as well as new medicine, new age medicine, yada yada. Medicine, by medicine, I mean practices. But visually, they describe exactly what you said about about what uh, the levels are in there. So go check out Doctor Strange. You would love it.
I will. I
You're
will.
gonna sit there and go. I know you will. You're gonna be, oh, that's so cool. That's what we see. That's what we talk about. But that's what he does. By the way, and oh heck, what was I talking about before that? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
the gosh show. Yeah, I go out into where you say you go into the light. Surprise! I go out in the dark. I go out into the liminal space. I think I may have mentioned this before. I think I have. Limnal, the sacred space between. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going out in the sacred space between all molecules, between all things, where everything and anything can be manifest, anything and everything can happen. And there is no judgment, there is no good or bad. It's all just super intensely sacred. And in my case, extremely peaceful. For some people, it's actually a very, very dynamic space. And that's cool. For me, it's very peaceful. And that's a gasho meditation. And that's
nice.
something I do. That's my own private personal meditation when I need to meditate. Um, you mentioned something before we started uh, the internet, and you were talking about we were talking about what people think meditation is. Could you expound on that a little bit one more time?
Well, a lot of people, if I'm recalling, what did I say?
We're talking
A lot
about
of
what it
people
is and what
do.
it isn't.
Yeah, people think that meditation is this long, drawn out process that you have to um, uh, go deep, and there's been jokes about it, and people do the
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah,
make, and you don't it doesn't have to be this long drawn out process. It's just mainly, like we've been talking about, getting quiet,
yeah,
and and actually I've heard it likened to praying is talking,
yeah,
meditation is listening,
yeah, yeah.
and so you're
That's great clarity.
yeah, and so if you're just calm and kind of making sure that you're in balance with yourself and that your head is quiet and that you're really listening. Um, whether you're listening to messages from God or whether you're just listening to the earth around you,
Yes.
it can
Which is still
be.
God. Which is still God.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have done, and it's been a long time since I've done it, and it's something I want to do with the grandkids when the weather's a little warmer. Lay a sheet out on the ground and go lay on the ground and feel the earth rotate.
Oh, I love doing that.
Yes, and I
I
haven't done it for
love
years.
doing that.
And I saw somebody
Yeah.
refer to it not too long ago, and I was like, "Oh, I so need to do that
I
again."
forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it that is a meditation because you have to get quiet and still and be in the moment to feel the earth move.
That was my very first as an adult. That was one of my first reawakenings to spirituality. A friend of mine, we were laying on boulders up on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and he
Ooh.
said, "Just lay still." He didn't lead or give me any subconscious things. He said, "Just lie still here." It was the middle of the day, bright and sunny, Saturday afternoon. 18 years old, 19 years old. No, I was 19. Yeah, I was 19 by then. And he said, "Just lie out here and tell me what you experience." He said, "Give it a few minutes. Just tell me what you experience." And I said, "Okay." And I felt the warm sunshine and I felt the granite rock, and it was a giant boulder. And I felt the earth breathe beneath me. I felt the rise, the push up, and I felt it collapse down with me. And it was very subtle. I mean, it was barely, you could barely feel it. And I freaked out. And I sat up, I went, I sat up real fast and was like, and he started laughing. He said, "What, honey? What happened?" And I said, "It's breathing. It's breathing. I
It's
felt it.
alive.
It's alive. It's alive." And he laughed. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I figured you're weird enough. You would get it." He said, "Want to feel it again?" And I said, "Oh, hell yeah." So we leave back. It's doing it again. So yes, guys, you can do this, and it doesn't take bold. I mean, it was nice that he put me on boulders because there wasn't any earth thing or water moving underneath, or because actually earth can move, and grass and lawns and roots structures can move. All kinds of cool YouTube videos about that. This was on a boulder in the middle of a bunch of other boulders on a mountain, and you could feel it. You could feel the earth breathe, and it was so pleasant. I just chilled and just rode that feeling for another good 20-30 minutes, and just giggled my head off. It was awesome. Yeah, I forgot about doing that. You're right. I got to do that
It's
again.
kind of like, you can be in the ocean and ride the waves, or you can be in the
Yes.
boulders and
And ride those waves. Yes, it's just like riding a raft or an inflatable raft. Absolutely cool. Randy and Heather and Linda have all made really cool comments. Have you ever heard rocks giggling or murmuring while you're hiking? You are within believing. Absolutely. Been doing that since childhood. Excellent. Yep. Listening to the within.
well, we
Absolutely.
have been at this over an hour. Time flies
Surprise.
when we're having fun.
Yeah.
So I think we probably should wrap it up for tonight.
Sure. Sure.
But I want to show
Next week.
next week. Yes, we're going to have
Something
Kim
different.
McAllister with us. And it's Calling All Angels.
Yay.
We're going to be exploring concepts, reality, and experiences with her. You can visit her website, rainbowwingsconsulting.com. But we both know her and have had some really cool interactions with her. And she does angel readings.
She
And
communicates with angels on a regular basis. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about some of those and our experiences
And have
with
Kim talk
her.
about, yeah, and have Kim talk about some of her actual experiences with angels, actual conversations, actual experiences with angels, deceased people, and so on. So,
Yes.
a little bit of a wings on the ground kind of thing, or wings in
Yeah.
the air. Yeah,
Yes. So
some
we're excited
supernatural
to
stuff.
have her join us and
Yeah,
bring
Kim
your
is a lot of fun.
questions.
Yeah, Kim is
Yes.
Kim is very fun.
Yes, definitely. So,
Yay!
all right, and I guess with that we will close out.
Absolutely. Thank you for the compliments, Linda. And
Yes.
Reiki. Randy, I just called you Reiki. Reiki Randy said good night, everyone. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, guys.
Don't forget to
Um,
like and follow us and all that
yes.
good stuff on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify.
And we will see you next week. Have a good
Yes.
night. Bye, Deborah. Bye,
Bye.
Tara. Bye, Angie. Thank you.